Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Don Father and I'm about to do a reaction now that nobody actually requested, but it's from Dark Docs, who do really good military documentary videos, and I can't stress how good the channel is. I think this will possibly be the third one now that I'm going to react to, and every one of them has been good, so check out their channel and subscribe. This one is a little short to be a Marine, America's most decorated World War II soldier. Going to be very, very interesting. Just before we start, I would say one thing: never judge a book by its cover when it comes to soldiers and being small. Some of the most ferocious and intelligent soldiers are actually short. And let me tell you something, I was in a platoon where most of us were quite small, but everyone could carry weight and go for miles upon miles with all this weight on their back and never give up. It's a mentality thing. It's not about how big you are, how strong you look, or how big your arms are, your shoulders are, how many tattoos you've got. It's about the mental drive to keep going when it is really starting to get tough. It's just pushing through the pain barrier and just keep going and going, and having the grit and determination and the will and desire to keep going. But this is going to be incredible. Really looking forward to it. The link to the original video will be in the description section below, as always. Don't forget, if you'd like a personalised video request and shout out, check out our Patreon account, which is in the description section also. And if you'd like a different way of getting your request through, join our channel as a member and you can do it there also. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share, and put the bell on. That would be fantastic. And subscribe to us on Rumble, where we are the Don's channel, and that is all one word. Anyway, no more talking. Let's go.
Audie Murphy wanted to join the Marines, but was rejected for being too short. The paratroopers wouldn't have him either, so he settled for infantry. Little did the baby-faced Texan farm boy imagine that he would one day be considered an American legend. Murphy eventually became one of the most decorated heroes of World War II, including the prestigious Medal of Honor for his bravery in holding off a company of German soldiers. When he was later asked why he had seized a machine gun and taken on an entire enemy company by himself, he humbly said, quote, "They were killing my friends." Never gave up. Audie Leon Murphy was born on June 20th, 1925, to sharecropper farmers in Hunt County, Texas. After his father abandoned them, he dropped out of school and started picking cotton. His rifle hunting skills also helped feed the family. Audie's mother passed away when he was 16.
Wow.
Murphy then had to take care of his siblings. He would later say, quote, "When she passed away, she took something of me with her. It seems I've been searching for it ever since." After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the young man attempted to enlist with the Army, the Navy, and even the Marines, but he was turned away for being underage and too short. His older sister, Corinne, helped him by providing a falsified affidavit with a different birth date. He was finally admitted to the Army in 1942. During basic training at Camp Walters, he earned a marksman badge and an expert badge with rifle and bayonet respectively. He then moved to Fort Meade for advanced training. Murphy was eventually shipped to Casablanca in French Morocco to join Company B, 1st Battalion, 15th Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division. He was soon promoted to Private First Class, and his first combat assignment was in the Allied invasion of Sicily in July of 1943. He continually proved to be a highly skilled soldier and demonstrated his understanding of small unit action techniques. A brave soldier. In September of 1943, Murphy landed in Salerno, Italy. While on a scouting mission along the Volturno River, he and 2 other soldiers were ambushed by Germans. The enemy shot one of his companions, but the other 2 quickly fired back and downed 5 Germans. The following month, Murphy's company repelled a German attack during the assault on the Volturno line. By December, he was promoted to sergeant and then to staff sergeant a month later. In January of 1944, Murphy was assigned platoon sergeant in Company B and stayed with his troops in Anzio for 4 months.
The reason why you'll see a lot of fast promotions like that is there's probably a lot of the sergeants, staff sergeants being killed, and people who have like already there have obviously proved themselves in different battles to be either a good marksman or a good leader, getting casualties out, just showing a bit of leadership on the ground. That's probably why he was pinpointed and being promoted pretty quickly. Anzio is a place I've actually visited. A World War II battlefield town. It's like it's a coastal town. You still see the holes in the walls to this day when the Allied troops invaded Anzio and tried to push the Nazis back. But wow, what an incredible battlefield tour that was! But wow, these guys were really up against it.
One day, Murphy led his platoon against the crew of a passing German tank. He then crawled on his own until he was close enough to destroy the tank with rifle grenades. He was later awarded the Bronze Star with a V device for this action. After continuing to make scouting patrols to take Germans for a few months, 61 soldiers and officers of the 15th Infantry were awarded the Combat Infantryman Badge, including Murphy. The young officer continued to advance through the ranks, and after the American forces liberated Rome on June 4th, 1944, he received his first decoration for gallantry.
There we go.
Invasion of southern France. Murphy's unit was then withdrawn from Italy and sent to help in the first wave of the Allied invasion of southern France. After landing on Yellow Beach near Armagh, his platoon was marching through a vineyard when they were attacked by German soldiers. Murphy then retrieved a machine gun and responded to the enemy fire, shooting 2 and wounding 1. 2 Germans then came out of a house and appeared to surrender, but they shot Murphy's best friend instead. The enraged sergeant continued to fire and shot down 6 soldiers and took 11 prisoners. He was subsequently awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. At Montélimar in August, Murphy successfully led his platoon through northeast France, securing the area from the Germans. Murphy and the other brave men who participated received the Presidential Unit Citation. A heel wound by a mortar shell blast earned him his first Purple Heart in September of 1944, while his first Silver Star came from his actions at Lomé, where he put down 4 soldiers and wounded 3 at a German machine gun position. 3 days after this feat, he crawled towards a German unit at Lomé. He then guided his men through a radio while under enemy fire and took the hill. This action earned him the Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for his Silver Star. He was soon awarded a battlefield commission to second lieutenant, which upgraded him to platoon leader by October 14th. A few days later, the 3rd Platoon of Company B was attacked by snipers, and Murphy got hit on the hip. Despite his injury, he returned fire and shot a German sniper between the eyes. He then received a Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for his Purple Heart injury and remained out of combat for several months. Ultimately, the invasion of southern France took 7 weeks, and there were 4,500 casualties from Murphy's division. By this point, he was already one of the most decorated men in his company. But Murphy wouldn't stop there.
Here we go.
Medal of Honor.
Incredible.
Murphy rejoined his platoon in January of 1945, now stationed in the Colmar area. The Colmar Pocket in the Vosges Mountains was an 850 square mile terrain held by the Germans since November. Murphy soon moved with the 3rd Division to the town of Holzwihr in Alsace, where they faced a savage German counterattack. The now lieutenant was wounded in both legs, which earned him a 2nd Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for his Purple Heart. Murphy was then appointed commander of Company B while waiting for reinforcements. Murphy's company suddenly came under German attack once again, and an onslaught of 6 Panzer tanks and 250 infantrymen charged against them. the Germans struck an M10 tank destroyer and set it alight. The crew had to abandon it, and Murphy ordered his soldiers to retreat into the woods and regroup. The lieutenant stayed in his post, shooting his M1 carbine and directing the artillery by radio while under direct fire. He then mounted the abandoned and burning tank with a single 50 caliber machine gun and shot down a squad crawling through a ditch near his position. Despite his leg injuries, Murphy stayed for an hour and repelled the Germans on 3 sides. He downed or wounded about 50 soldiers, stalling the German advance and allowing the American troops to counterattack. The young officer even insisted on remaining with his men while his wounds were treated. Murphy only stopped attacking once he was out of ammunition, and then rejoined his men to lead them against the enemy. Murphy's company ended up driving the Germans out of Holzwehr that day, and the young lieutenant was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions on the front. In addition, the 3rd Infantry Division was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation for their actions at the Colmar Pocket, conferring on Murphy a bronze oak leaf cluster for his medal. On February 16th, Murphy was promoted to the rank of 1st Lieutenant and was awarded the Legion of Merit. He was then transferred to the regimental headquarters and designated a liaison officer. By the end of World War II, Murphy had an unparalleled 28 American medals, 3 others from France and 1 from Belgium. When victory was declared in May of 1945, the lieutenant was not even 21 years old yet.
My word.
Hollywood calls.
This is absolutely blowing me away. What a man. Of course, the story at the start with him being so small, couldn't get into, I think, the parachute regiment, which would be your airborne, couldn't get into any of them. Everybody looking at him like he's never going to be any good. And then look at this. Look at this. All these attacks that they came under, and I'm almost speechless at just how good he was when he jumped up onto that machine gun and held off fire from 3 sides, and then eventually held the position where his troops whilst being administered first aid to his leg wounds. I think he'd already been shot in the hip as well at one point, hadn't he? It's just incredible, incredible.
Back in the United States, Murphy was received with parades, banquets, and gave plenty of speeches. He even appeared on the cover of Life magazine, and on August 21st, 1945, he was awarded a belated Good Conduct Medal. By September, Murphy was transferred to the Officers Reserve Corps after being discharged with the 1st Lieutenant rank at a 50% disability classification. Actor James Cagney then convinced him to pursue a career in acting, and Murphy decided to try it. He arrived in Hollywood with only his good looks and no acting experience, but ended up making over 40 films, mostly westerns. Murphy also became a prolific songwriter. In 1949, he published his memoir, To Hell and Back, which got positive reviews, and a 1955 movie adaptation in which he starred as himself. However, most critics agree that his performance in the 1951 Civil War epic The Red Badge of Courage is his most accomplished. Murphy also made several guest appearances on television and starred in the series Whispering Smith. Then, after 21 years, he retired from acting and was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Later years. Murphy suffered from what was then known as battle fatigue or shell shock, terms for what is now diagnosed as post-traumatic stress disorder. He also endured constant headaches, depression, and insomnia, and he admitted to always sleeping with a loaded handgun beneath his pillow. Murphy sought consolation in addictive sleeping pills. In the mid-1960s, he broke his dependency by locking himself in a hotel room for a week. He was also known to have alarming stress episodes and found a creative outlet in poetry. During the Korean and Vietnam Wars, Murphy spoke actively about his own problems, called on the government to consider the emotional impact of war, and vouched for healthcare for veterans. In 1973, a Texas legislation dedicated the Audie L. Murphy Memorial VA Hospital in San Antonio to his efforts. And in 2013, he was awarded the Texas Legislative Medal of Honor. Nevertheless, he continually struggled with money due to gambling issues and unsuccessful business investments. He also refused to appear in cigarette and alcohol commercials because of the influence he could have on youngsters, and he eventually went bankrupt in 1968. Shortly before his 46th birthday, Murphy did not survive a fatal crash while flying in a private jet over Virginia. A huge granite marker was erected near the crash site off the Appalachian Trail. Audie Murphy was buried with honors in Section 46 at Arlington National Cemetery. He requested a plain headstone instead of the gold leaf decoration for Medal of Honor recipients. Despite his modesty, his tomb is the second most visited in the cemetery, only behind John F. Kennedy's. His tombstone still displays his birth year as 1924, based on his falsified documents. Please leave us a comment below and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed our video. And also subscribe to our channels for more stories on the greatest American heroes.
Wow, what an incredible man. Even the afterlife stuff, after military stuff, sorry. Hollywood, the amount of movies he made was incredible. Obviously starring on as himself as well is quite surreal, but who better to play the part of him than him? It makes perfect sense. Westerns, possibly seen him and didn't even realise. But more importantly, his service to his country and what he did for his own troops. The amount of, what was it, Bronze Stars go. I don't even, like, we don't have those medals in the UK, so just the amount of decoration that he had because of his bravery and courage in battle was just mind blowing. What an incredible man. I think it's amazing that, of course, his start to life wasn't great either. A dad that just left is just horrendous. I don't have any respect for a father that just leaves his children and doesn't make any effort to rear them or see how they're doing or anything, just walks away. They're nothing short of them. They're just a loser. No respect for people like that whatsoever, but he's obviously played the father figure for his younger siblings and helped his mother. Then his mother's died when he's 16 and he's had to try and work the farm, pick cotton, etc. Then he's falsified when wars broke out after Pearl Harbor, or his sister rather helped him falsify records for his age so he can go and serve overseas and fight for his country. And boy did he do that. The record was incredible. That point though where he's jumped up and got onto the machine gun and he's held off Germans attacking from 3 sides, and as it said at the very start, why did you do it? He says, because my friends were dying. That is just, as a matter of fact, just literally that's what it was. That's why I did it. To try and help save them and get them to safety. He told them to retreat back into a more defensive position further back because they would have probably been slaughtered by the oncoming counter-attack from the Germans. And he's managed to hold them off and they've ended up taking it, which is just incredible. That is just incredible. I think they said that how many overall did he kill then? I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to look him up. But he has, that's blew me away a little bit, the achievement. Of course, I was saying about Italy as well, when you see the terrain coming in, okay, they've came through Sicily and then he's up in Anzio. I don't know if they've came in by way of navy into Anzio. It's a coastal town, beautiful, beautiful little place by the way, but you still see the bullet holes in the walls in Anzio on some of the older buildings where the Allied forces would have came in by ship and then obviously went on and fought. They've ended up fighting in Monte Cassino, which is it's a mountain. It's huge, and to think I think it's Italians, Nazis held that position on the mountain, and it's eventually been took. I think the Poles and the Gurkhas and the British Army had a massive part to play in taking Monte Cassino, but you just have to see the terrain to appreciate what these men did. It's just incredible. But he's obviously fought through there, then he's went to southern France, and I think they mentioned Belgium as well and other parts where he's picked up different received different honours as well for his part that he played. But brilliant story. There's another guy I want to cover soon as well. He was from Northern Ireland, Paddy Blair Men you call him, but he was Special Forces. He ended up becoming I think he was the second in command for the SAS when they first started, founded by David E. Stirling, who was a Scots Guard, and I think Lieutenant Colonel, I think he was. Paddy Blair Men, the stuff that he did against the Nazis was just frightening, amazing stuff. But his life, equal to that, was just an incredible story. And he died in such a bizarre way, like Audie as well. Of course, he died in a plane crash. When you think of all the stuff that he went through, being wounded so many times, the amount of battles he would have fought through, of course being addicted to sleeping tablets, which he managed to get himself off. Gambling addictions, it's all part and parcel of obviously the trauma that he would have had from being in the war. You're looking for maybe recreational help with that trauma, and you see a lot of troops to this day, maybe gambling, alcohol, whatever, drugs, to sort of soften the problems that they're facing mentally. So that's obviously what was happening with him, but he's lived through that and then eventually died in a plane crash. It's quite strange how life pans out really, but Paddy Blair Men quite similar as well, so if I do cover him, I'm not going to give anything away right now, but brilliant story that. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about Audie Murphy. What a man he was indeed. And that's everything. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share and put the bell on, and also the link to that original video will be in the description section below. Just before I end the video I want to say that. Thanks very much for watching. I am the Dawn Father and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.